A Black-led nonprofit has now acquired 650 acres in the Sierra Nevada. The land, about an hour from Sacramento, will help 40 Acre Conservation League continue their mission of fostering greater human connections to nature, especially among underrepresented groups. I spoke to the group's president, Jade Stevens, about what this land represents and how she hopes it will continue to create spaces where the Black community feels comfortable out in nature.
Congratulations. What does this 650-acre land acquisition in the Sierra mean to you and to this organization?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. I think this 650 acre acquisition is really the first step of our journey in really redefining the relationship that we know exists between the Black culture and the great outdoors. So having the opportunity to really craft, mold, and shape this acquisition in the way that we believe will be culturally relevant, safe, and welcoming is really promising for what we see in the future.
Describe where this space is, why that is significant, and what is included in this space.
Yeah, so it's about an hour's drive from Sacramento in the Emigrant Gap area. Again, it is 650 acres. It includes a beautiful lake that can be seen from the freeway. It's about 30 acres. And outside of that, there's just miles of trail throughout the property. In terms of, what we hope for it to look like and what we expect for it to be, I mean, this is a place that we see will be the intersection of what really is our pillars, which is environmental, recreational, and economic equity. We believe it's possible for having an acquisition like this to achieve a 30 by 30 goal while also bringing communities of color along.
Let's go back a little bit, and I want to talk about the roots of this organization. In fact, the name of this nonprofit that stems from the Civil War, and at that time, a definition of what freedom looked like for people who were enslaved. Tell me the significance of that to you.
Yeah, so I mean, the 40 Acre Conservation League was inspired by the idea of 40 acres and a mule. And knowing at that time that we were promised land, the freed slaves were promised land, but unfortunately it was taken back from them. We see this as an opportunity to really redefine what that promise is. And we almost think of ourselves as the modernized Green Book, a Green Book that allows people to find safe spaces.
As you look to deliver on that promise, can you speak to some of the obstacles that may have presented themselves and continue to the Black community in accessing those spaces that are outdoors?
Our vision is really to create a space that is safe and welcoming. Historically, I'm an outdoors person myself. I love to cycle. I've unfortunately had instances where I didn't feel welcome. I've had statements said to me. I've had questions asked, like, do you belong here? Do you know where you go or where you're going? And, unfortunately, I was able to take it, but I don't know if everyone else can. And so those types of experiences, seeing things on headlines like Christian Cooper, who loved bird watching, people who just wanted to, have backyards or picnics at their local parks, like that's a regular thing, unfortunately, for people who communities of color. And so, when we think about delivering on that promise, we're really taking that in mind. What are some of the things that they need? And it really boils down to creating safe and culturally relevant spaces. And so we're taking the time with this acquisition to really do the research, to have those conversations and figure out, what are recreational opportunities that can help meet communities of color where they are. I really am looking forward to dispelling that myth that, Black people don't love the outdoors, because I'm one. I have a group of friends that do it, but there's something to be said that many groups or many of my friends are willing to go on vacations and travel and do girls trips outside of the country, but for some reason they don't want to go to a park that's in their backyard. And so we're really trying to close that gap and find ways to make them feel more comfortable.